Great Scott. Great Scott. Great Scott.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V, and thanks for watching. You know, in recent years, there have been a number of comic book movies just flooding the system, just coming out, continuing to be released, continuing to be made, continuing to be talked about. There are endless rumors about new superheroes. There's Ant-Man coming soon. Ant-Man. Ant-Man! I'm actually very excited because I love comic book movies. I love superheroes. I love seeing any superhero or almost superhero. You know, I love the Kick-Ass movie. I didn't like Catwoman. But to see these movies just keep coming, and then I hear people saying, you know, is it washed up? Is it over? Is there going to be no more? Should they stop? Is it too many? You know, how much is too many? When is it enough? You know, do we have to keep seeing these kinds? Now, of course, the people who don't want to see them aren't comic book fans and probably wouldn't mind if they stopped. But I want them to keep making them, you know, as long as they're good, as long as there's quality to them, and as long as they stop making ones like Catwoman. But I wanted to talk specifically about the honor. Myself as an actor, albeit not as successful as I would have liked to be, what I would personally feel were I cast as one of these superheroes, especially Superman, of course, being you're watching this on the Superman homepage, and you're probably a fan of Superman if you're watching this in the first place. If I were to be asked to be cast, there might be some feeling of, you know, will this typecast me, or, you know, am I going to be only remembered as Superman? But it wouldn't be a concern in terms of how I would move forward with accepting the project or not. I can understand that actors want to have diversity. They want to continue to have work even after the Superman or superhero part of their career is over. But too many times, you know, for my money, am I hearing actors, even directors, who are supposed to be making these movies, kind of talk in a way that doesn't sound like they even really respect or like the source material. You know, most recently, Nolan and Bale made the Batman films, which, you know, I've already made clear I certainly don't see the hype that everybody else sees, but that's okay. I'm on the outside. Everybody else, you know, I'm looking in. I'm wishing that I could get it. But both of them have made clear that they really don't like some of the source material. Now, some of the source material. We don't all like every single story that comes out about Superman. We don't all like every single character, but Robin is an integral part, has always been an integral part, whether it's Dick Grayson, whether it's Stephanie Brown, whether it's Tim Drake, you know, Jason Todd. Robin is just, I mean, he's always kind of been there, and he's very integral to the character. It's a big part of the mythos, and to have, you know, guys say, you know, he just doesn't fit in my idea of the universe, he just doesn't fit with my concept of the character, is kind of disrespectful in my opinion. And it's odd that a guy would be chosen to be the director who doesn't like the characters that are in the universe, who wants to kind of make his own thing. No, Batman only fights people that I could see him, you know, being up against. And Bale said, I won't be in a movie if Robin is in it, so we're not going to have Robin. Again, you're the actor. It's not your job to tell us what you're going to be in, unless you just, you know, turn down the project. But I mean, but we tell you what it's going to be. And here I am talking badly about them again, but I love the Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire, and he was similar in that he continued to talk about how, in my memory, maybe I'm wrong, how he didn't want to be connected with Spider-Man for the rest of his career. Too late, since he's done pretty much nothing else that anyone has recognized. And I know people will write me and say he had a couple of Oscar contenders or whatever, but I mean, is he a big giant superstar? Is he in lots of movies? Do you see him all the time? I certainly don't. And now I look at, you know, Toby and, you know, and the people in that movie, and I say, too bad you had to pick it, you know, and say you're not getting paid enough because now there's a new Spider-Man and your gig's over. And what else were you doing anyway? And to me, it's an extreme honor to be playing I would be jumping up and down as an actor to be playing Spider-Man. And, you know, I know I'm no Tobey Maguire. I don't have even the success level that, you know, any actor's name that you would even know has. But I just think that to look at it in that fashion, and then that brings me to, you know, the people cast in the new Man of Steel movie. They've all been saying great things. And obviously when you're casting a movie, and you're doing press for it and you want it to do well, you're not going to be like, well, this sucks. And that's why it comes to, you know, people who are already involved and who aren't going to be fired and who aren't going to be replaced, like Bale or Tobey Maguire or whatever. Although Tobey Maguire, the entire cast, the director, the writers, were all replaced for the Spider-Man movies. You would think they wouldn't be because it was so successful. But look, if you push too hard back against the character and the company that are giving you your job, eventually I think things can go wrong. And I think that the Spider-Man franchise is a perfect example of how things went wrong because maybe the people involved with it weren't as passionate as they should be. Henry Cavill recently said when people asked why people seem to have a hard time with Superman or people seem to complain about Superman, that what he said was, I don't think people know the character well enough. He's a very interesting character because he's always trying to do the right thing. Doesn't necessarily make him boring. He's conflicted in his own ways, and I'm speaking just strictly from the source material when it comes from the comic books. This is a guy who read lots of comic books. He said it many times. He collected comic books. The Death storyline was one of his favorites, and he read them. He read Red Sun. He read these things to try and get a feeling of who this character was and understand who he was, and he cared enough to want to understand, and he seemed respectful of the comic books. Further, he said, what Superman has to go through is enormously difficult. If people really think about what it would be like, you'd realize that there's a lot more to him than being a good guy. A lot more. There's a lot to the man. When people say it's tough to make him interesting, they just need to read some of the right stuff, and they'll see there's a lot of very interesting things going on in that guy's head. And when he was asked how it felt to be playing such an iconic character, he said it's a wonderful feeling, and certainly there's an aspect of it that I could feel to be an enormous amount of pressure, which could end up affecting me. But if I try to focus on more the honor of it and the excitement of being the person who was chosen to take up the mantle, it's a wonderful opportunity, it's exciting, and it's so much fun. These are the kind of responses you should get, especially from a guy playing Superman or Spider-Man, big iconic characters that have that universal appeal and are so, it's such an honor to be playing, in my opinion. And I think you found the right guy with Henry Cavill, if he's going to say things along that line. That's how you should feel. Thanks everybody for watching. Remember, always look up in the sky.